One of the reasons I went to law school in general, law school in the first place, was I worked for and I taught children with autism. And so these were young children, anywhere between kindergarten and 6th grade, and they had severe forms of autism. The first client I had with autism reminded me so much about why I wanted to go and be a lawyer in the first place. And I think that my experience in understanding autism in the first place was the only reason that this child won. My experience, as well as my advocacy, changed the judge's mind on what autism is and how that would impact this child in their daily functioning.
So I've been practicing law for 30 years now. When I initially practiced law, I was involved in a general practice, but then it seemed that I took some appeals cases, and one went up to the Utah Supreme Court, in which I won. And that gravitated me to Social Security and workers' compensation. In 1994, workers' compensation laws changed, where I had to make a choice of either practicing in workers' comp or in Social Security, and I chose to go into Social Security. And the reason why I did that is we found a real need to represent people in Social Security.
This person had been denied by a previous administrative law judge. And my advocacy and the workup that we did was paramount in getting this individual on the benefit. And the judge actually, in that circumstance, this judge doesn't particularly do that, granted this person's benefit on the record. They granted their disability benefits there in the hearing without having to wait, without having to do anything else. Everybody else was crying by the end of the hearing because the way that the multiple sclerosis had just taken over this person's life, but the strength that they still had within them was so apparent to everybody in the room. And I think that was one of the proudest moments.
One particular client was a helicopter pilot, and his job was to transport animals through a relocation program that we had in Utah. And what happened is the guy wire connected with an electrical wire, and it pulled his helicopter down, and he crashed, and he became a paraplegic. Now, most people think a paraplegic is an automatic ruling for a Social Security disability, but they had denied him twice. And in fact, he was ready to go in front of a judge, and he did not understand the process. He went through a real trial. I mean, his wife had to go back to work. He was in constant pain. He was not receiving the medical records or medical treatment that he needed. His wife threatened a divorce on this. He was losing his home. They had difficulty finding food to put on the table. Well, once we reviewed through the process, we realized that his medical records did not outline what was important for the judge to make the determination. Once we received that information and helped the doctor put in his notes what was actually going on with him, it was a very simple and easy way to go through it. He was able to receive the maximum amount, which was $2,600 per month. But not only that, it also qualified him for Medicare so that he could get additional treatment, which helped him with rehabilitation and functioning better and being more comfortable and getting the pain meds that were appropriate for him.
This is all I do. All I do is Social Security disability. When I get to work, I'm working on a Social Security disability case. When I leave work at the end of the day, the last thing I did was a Social Security disability case. This is all I do. So my attention is going to be on how to improve a Social Security case. All of my CLE, all of my continuing education is going to be geared towards representing Social Security disability claimants.
At our law firm, the client is very much a part of the team. The client is very much involved. We need to explain to the client what is the process and why it takes and what they're looking for. We prepare the client up, we meet with them, and we review through their medical records with them. And we also help them understand what happens in a hearing, and we prepare them up for that hearing. What we are doing is we are doing something that is affecting those people's lives. They need to know what is going on with their claim. One of the greatest benefits of Social Security is it provides some stability in your life.
Even though every new client brings in something unique, there's enough about the medical conditions that I have seen that are similar that I'm able to understand what this person is suffering from, how it's going to impact their ability to work, how it's going to impact their ability to interact just with their daily life.
Social Security is run through an administrative process, and there's two benefits that you receive as a result of this. That is, you get a monthly benefit, and you also get health insurance either through Medicare or Medicaid. But life is much more than that, and that's one reason why we're here. We can talk to you about what happens after you receive benefits. Does that mean that you have to be bedridden? No, it doesn't. You can still live a life.
I think being objective is extremely important. I have to be removed from the emotion of the situation, but at the same time, I have to interact with the client. If I'm just dealing with emails, if I'm just dealing with texts, that helps my client in no way. I would like to meet with the person. I want to sit down, talk to them, and hear their story.
We found that by working closely with us and that we with you, that it helps the case go smoothly.